Well, hello and welcome everyone to the Stardom cast. This is episode 79. Hope everybody's doing fine and fantastic. See, I threw the little rhyme in there. It is a back to school season for most parents like myself, and you have little ones that have back to school. I hope that their school year is fantastic and they're learning lots and that they're staying safe and being safe and having a good time. And most importantly, get them to spread the fantastic world of Stardom because, hey, that's what we're all about here, folks. I am your host, Matt Turner. I hope everybody is doing terrific. I hope you're better today than you were yesterday. I hope you're better this week than you were last week. Okay, now I know you're probably seeing in the description box how come Matt is only reviewing day 11 of the 5-star. How come he did not review day 12? Well, easy answer for that, as I record this on a Wednesday night, so I can set it up to our fantastic editor-in-chief, Mr. Sean Montrose, in order for me to have this up in your podcast feed first thing Friday morning. I have to have this in at a timely manner, and unfortunately, we are at the mercy of Stardom World as I am recording this on a Wednesday night. And only day 11 is up. Half of day 12 is up. I did watch the 4 matches that are on there, and they were fantastic. And rather than me just read off the results from day 12, I did not want to do that, and I won't do that. 1, that's just lazy podcasting, and 2, you fantastic friends and listeners and family of the Stardom cast, you deserve much better, especially this 5-star Grand Prix. So this is more than likely going to be a shorter episode, as I'm just going to review night 11 of the 5-star, and then I will preview the Yokohama Budokan pay-per-view coming up this weekend on 9/11, and then next week it'll probably be a day 12, a day 13, and a day 14 review. So this will be a shorter episode this week, and then next week will be much longer. So I apologize for only just doing one show, but again, we're at the mercy of Stardom World, so I will make it up to you next week, I promise. So there's really no big news and notes. Well, I mean, obviously in the wrestling world, especially here in the States, there's some crazy stuff going on, and I'm really not going to comment too much on it other than I hope everybody, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just send me a DM, especially what happened after the pay-per-view in Chicago this past week. I hope just everybody can settle their differences and put everything aside and let a cooler head prevail, because all the talent that was involved in the incident is fantastic talent, and I hope they can move aside. Also, earlier this week, they announced that Keiji Muto's retirement match will be inside the Tokyo Dome, which I thought it would be, but I thought it might have been for New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom, but it's going to be sometime early next year for Pro Wrestling Noah. So Pro Wrestling Noah, for the first time in over 15 years, will be going back to the Tokyo Dome, which makes you think, hey, Pro Wrestling Noah is the 3rd or 4th biggest wrestling company in Japan, and Stardom is the 2nd biggest wrestling company in Japan with over 200% growth. So I know Ross Ogawa has hinted at it in the past that he would like to run the Tokyo Dome. So pending on how well Pro Wrestling Noah does at the Tokyo Dome, it's pending on maybe something that he's going to be looking at. But I do, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's a possibility that we may be seeing Stardom in the Tokyo Dome, especially now we're getting more towards like post-pandemic. I know New Japan just ran a full Cork and Hall show with Channing, the whole 9 yards. So hopefully that's something that we continue at. Hopefully that they're staying safe over there in Japan and everywhere in the world. I know this podcast goes out to all the listeners in the world, and I thank you so much for listening. I hope wherever you are, you're being safe, not only with COVID-19 and all the horrible variants that are out there, but just being safe in general. Okay, I guess that was your Uncle Matt Turner's public service announcement. Let's get into day 11 of the 5-star Grand Prix. This takes place on the 3rd of September. In match number 1, we have a non-tournament match as Mirai takes on Natsupoi, takes on Waka Tsuyama, takes on Momo Kogo. So we have a little 4-way dance here. And I think this match was very smartly built. It was built off Mirai and Natsupoi, as they do have the tag team title match coming up this weekend. So I thought that was really good. So how they started, they built the intensity around it. I thought that was really smart and added depth to the match. Waka and Momo Kogo, they really didn't take too much of a back seat here, as Waka always seems to impress, even though she still has that big goose egg, and as Momo Kogo has the goose egg as well, at least going into this night on the 5-star Grand Prix. But I thought there was some really cool, innovative spots between all 4 individuals. Mirai does a really good job. Mirai and Natsupoi, they wind up doing a really good job as the match builds to the crescendo to kind of take each other out. So this way it isolates Momo Kogo and Waka, and Momo Kogo takes a page out of her trainer's book, Hazuki, as she hits the La Maestra cradle on Waka in about 8 minutes, 35 seconds to get the job done. 3.25 stars. And I was shocked that Momo got the win here. Not that I wasn't disappointed by any means. I'm a big fan of Momo Kogo. I'm a big fan of all 4 of these women. But I thought maybe that they would have gave Mirai the win just to build her up a little bit more towards going to the pay-per-view this weekend. So, but no, really solid match. Match number 2 is we have another non-tournament match as the team of Hazuki and Saida representing Stars taking on the team of Momo Watanabe and Ruwaka representing the evil Oedo Tai. Really good, solid strike exchange to begin with Momo Watanabe and Saida as they trade kicks and chops, as you kind of figured they would. Momo Watanabe gets the better of Saida in that exchange, but then Hazuki comes in, and if you're in a tag match with Hazuki and she gets tags in, you know what's going to happen, brother. Hazuki Mania is going to run wild. So really good double team action from the Stars team. And that seems to be their forte. It doesn't really matter what Stars duo are in there. You're always going to see some really, really good double team action. Hazuki hits Momo and Ruwaka with some stiff pump kicks. Basically, that gets Momo out of the ring. And then she hits another one on Ruwaka, and she hits the senton on Ruwaka for the win. 7 minutes and 57 seconds. I gave this one 3.25 stars. We move on to the first 5-star match of the evening as we go into the Red Stars block, as we see Himeka. She has in double digits here with about almost 4 weeks left to go. She's at 10 points, taking on Mai Sakurai, who I didn't see her getting more than 4 points, but she had 6 going into this, considering the fact that she had to qualify to get in. Himeka uses her power early on, but Mai Sakurai is able to counter, using some counter wrestling, and locks on that slick STF that I'm a really, really big fan of, and basically try to cut down the stronger opponent. May hits the elbow drop off the top rope for 2. Himeka counters the Gourd Buster, which she has now named the Shining Buster, with a beautiful back suplex, and then locks in her signature half crab. She hits a pair of lariats for 2. She hits the JP coaster as Mai Sakurai winds up rolling her up for 2. They go back and forth. She gets tripped, and Mai Sakurai gets the flash pin by hitting the Maipon roll at 8 minutes and 13 seconds. I thought this was a solid outing. This takes Mai Sakurai up to 8 points. I did not see her getting any more than 4, and she's doubled it at 8, with still a handful of matches to go, leaving Himeka at 10 points. Solid match, and I thought it was... you had the 2 members of Donald Del Mundo, and you got Julie and Micah all almost like laughing at Himeka. Like, really, I can't believe you fell for that. So I thought that was a kind of a nice little added on thing. And then Himeka was mad for about like a half a second. So really, really solid match. Probably Mai Sakurai's best outing so far, the 5-star, as she just continues to improve with every outing. We see it with Hana. We've seen it with Mina Shirakawa. We've seen it, with Starlight Kid, which she's been able to do over the last 14, 16 months. So just the improvement on these Stardom wrestlers is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. We move over to the Blue Stars block as we see Ami Sohrei. She's another one she had to qualify for this tournament. She's coming into this match with 8 points against Starlight Kid, one of the favorites, who has half that, which the quick math would tell me 4. So Ami Sohrei coming in at 8, Starlight Kid coming at 4 points. Ami really lays into Starlight Kid with some chops in the beginning. Crowd gets really, really behind Ami Sohrei. Did not want Starlight Kid to win this match at all, as the crowd they just seem to be really rallying behind Ami, especially with her teaming with Mirai. I think the whole clap thing is something that the crowd really, really seems to be enjoying. Starlight Kid, though, once she gets going, she really doesn't back away at all. I mean, Ami Sohrei, the much larger, the much stronger competitor, she uses her technical ability to try to get some momentum back. She hits the Ase moonsault. I thought that was very well done. I think that when she does that, it really just shows just how good she is coming off the ropes and how just technically sound she is. But that it seems like the moonsault is like the go-to thing with like the Stardom big stars. You know, you had Mayu, you had Io back in the day, even Io using it now, still flawless, and now it's like Starlight Kid. It seems it's like a rite of passage that if you're going to be the next big thing, to borrow a quote from somebody 20 years ago, that you have to hit the moonsault so perfectly, and she does a great job with it. Ami Story comes back with a few clotheslines for two, and then she tries the Like a Thunderbolt, Fire Thunder Driver, but Starlight Kid escapes into the Momo Latch for the win. 3.25 stars. This match got done in 7 minutes. My big note at the end, too short. I figured they should have given this match 11 or 12 minutes. They were going at a really, really good pace, and it just seems like they cut out like part of the match, and then they just went to the finish. 7 minutes, like I said, it was good. 3.25 stars, but I think they should have got 3 or 4 more minutes at least. But that's just me, and that gets Starlight Kid up to 6 points. We move back over to the Red Stars block where we see Saki Kashima coming in with 4 points, taking on one of the favorites to win the Red Stars block, the one and only Miss Tam Nakano. Tam Road trying to be full effect here. They do a really good job in the beginning showcasing Saki Kashima's technical ability, and then it goes into the usual Oedo Tai brawl, but Tam gets the advantage outside and hits a perfect dive onto the entire faction that was outside of Oedo Tai. Tam gets Saki back in the ring. She hits the violent shooting, and she goes for the Tiger Suplex. She escapes that with a Kishikasai for 2. Everyone thought it was over with. Tam follows up with another violent shooting. She goes for the violent screwdriver, but Saki catches her in the Kishikasai counter. Back and forth they go. Same thing what she did to Shiri for the 1, 2, 3. 6 minutes, 18 seconds, 3.5 stars. I thought this was a really good storytelling from both wrestlers. Again, I would have wished they would have gotten maybe 2 or 3 extra minutes. But Saki Kashima coming in now with 6 points, and she's tied with Tam. Well, technically, she would have the tiebreaker on Tam because she beat her. And just think, like Saki, she's right now, as everyone knows, 1/3 of the Artists of Stardom champions. She just beat the former #1 contender for the World Stardom Championship in Tam Nakano, who's also a former white belt member and our champion, and also the current one half of the Goddess of Stardom Championship. And then she also beat Shuri, who was last year's tournament winner and the current World of Stardom champion. So Saki Kashima, even though she only has 3 wins in this tournament, she's got 2 really, really big quality wins here over Tam and Shuri. And that's just the wild thing about the 5-star. You just never know who's going to beat who. So, okay, moving right back along here, folks. So we go into the, excuse me 1 second, drop my pen. We go into the Blue Stars block action as we have Julia coming in with 8 points, taking on Mina Shirakawa. And this is kind of just a tale of two different tales here. As you have Mina, who won her first 2 matches, hasn't won since, and then you have Julia who lost her first 2 matches and hasn't lost since. So you kind of just wanted to see which way the momentum here was going to swing. So Mina, right from the beginning, goes after Julia's knee. Drop kick right, that low angle drop kick right to the knee. Very, we just talked about him earlier, very great Muda style, KG Muda style. Sets up for the figure 4 leg lock. She goes back and forth with it, blocks it in really well. Julia does a really good job selling it. Julia gets the ropes, but when she gets the ropes, Mina just keeps rolling. And she rolls her all the way to the outside. She keeps the figure 4 leg lock in. Very cool spot, and rolls all the way up towards the entrance ramp. And then she waits till the referee counts about 11 or 12. She runs into the ring. Crowd really getting behind Julia here to make sure she doesn't get counted out. And then Julia does a really good job selling, really good facials here, really good job panning towards the crowd on the near count out. And she gets in the ring just at 19. I thought it was a really good, and the crowd came up for it, and the crowd bit that might have been the finish here. The really good spot there to start. And it's basically showing that Julia has to fight from underneath to get this win so she can try to get to double digits. Back in the ring, Mina goes right back to the figure 4. Again, crowd is really, really into this. They really come up here. Julia gets right back to the rope. She climbs up to the turnbuckle, or climbs up on the turnbuckle to try to support herself to get up. And Mina stays super aggressive, hits the rolling elbow to the back of the neck, and then picks her up, puts her on the top rope, hits the draping DDT. And then Mina just keeps firing up, pouring on kicks, elbows, spinning back fist for 2. Julia finally counters with a Rich Plus backdrop driver, She hits 2 Shining Blacks and the Falcon Arrow for 2. And then she fires up, gets off that knee. She hits another backdrop driver for the win. 8 minutes, 46 seconds, 3.5 stars. This was, when I saw this one on paper, I figured, oh, this was going to be really good. And it was good. It kind of just missed the mark for me. They did a really good job with the psychology of going after the knee. I thought the storytelling with Mina just being super aggressive. Again, I say it all the time on this podcast, Julia is so fantastic on taking people that are, for lack of a better term, like underneath her on the card and just making them so much better and then giving them so much. Like Julia really only had that little flurry towards the end. And, that's all, you say, well, it's all it took to put away. But it made Julia look better because she had a fight from underneath right from the get-go. She got locked in the figure 4. She got hit with all these strikes. She got hit with a draping DDT off the top rope. And then she really had a, fight from beneath to come back. So I thought that was a really good storytelling aspect there. I was kind of hoping for maybe a little back and forth towards the end, but we did not get that. But that's A-okay. Another thing that you may have to think about too, I mean, we're halfway through this tournament. These ladies got to be beat up. So I don't think you're gonna see some matches where they may take a half a step back. I don't want to say that because I don't want to be disrespectful, but maybe they're just being a little bit safer because they don't want to get too banged up. At the same time, they did tell a really, really good story, and I'm just really impressed to see just how much more Mina Shirakawa has improved, and just how Julia just does a great job shining up everybody she works with in the ring. Doesn't matter if it's somebody on the top of the card like Utami, Mayu, or Sherry, or if it's a Miyu or a Hana, or if they're in a multi-person tag match. Julia is so giving when it comes to her opponents and her partners in the ring, and that's just a promoter's dream. I mean, a booker and a promoter would absolutely love somebody like Julia. Plus the fact she has that star and aura presence to her. I mean, she really is she's not Lex Luger, but we may as well call her the total package. Afterwards, there was a backstage promo that Julia gave making reference that she'd like to see Mina become a little bit more aggressive and turn into the Bloody Angel, and hinted that she would like to see Mina maybe break up from Cosmic Angels as there's so many new members, and then maybe come to Donald Del Mundo. So that's something to keep our eye out for, folks. So match number 7. We go to the co-main event of this evening as we go to the Red Stars block. We see Shuri with 6 points, 1-3 last 3, taking on Micah. She's coming in with 8 points. We get some really good, solid grappling to start. Obviously, Micah has that judo background, so she's really good at ring positioning and how to position your opponents for certain throws and knuckle locks and arm locks and leg laces. And obviously, Shuri is a legit shooter. I talk about it all the time. Former UFC competitor, former strawweight pancrase champion. So really good stuff there. Shuri winds up getting the better of the early exchange, the groundwork, the mat work, and lays him some heavy kicks on the bigger Micah. Micah uses a series of shoulder tackles and clotheslines to slow down Shuri's onslaught. Micah hits a big superplex for 2, but Shuri fires back with some few kicks and a jumping knee. But Micah uses the Buzz Sawyer style power slam to try to slow the champ down. It doesn't work as Shuri comes back with a code breaker and then hits the Ruin. But she can't follow up all the way with the Ruin, like going for the pinfall, just because of just the earlier damage that Micah had put on Shuri. I thought that was a really good storytelling aspect with Micah hitting the superplex, hitting the power slam, and Shuri basically almost a desperation Ruin, couldn't follow up. Shuri comes back off the ropes to kind of blitz Micah with a series of strikes, but she winds up hitting a desperation Michinoku driver, and then she can't follow up. So you kind of have the tale of two onslaught offenses being halted by one big move, but can't follow up. I love that storytelling there. I thought that was awesome. The two exchanges some brutal headbutts as the crowd really, really starts coming up here towards the end of the match. Shuri locks in an armbar, but Micah does the Bob Backlund, Carl Goff style powerbomb to get out of the submission. Absolutely love that. Or for you Pride Fighting Chip fans, the Rampage bomb as well. She hits a big lariat for 2. Micah fires up through the pain, hits a discus lariat, hits one Michinoku driver, then picks her up and then hits a tornado-style Michinoku driver. Absolutely love that for the win, as this one was coming so close to the time limit. I had this one 4 solid stars, one of the must-see matches of this tournament. 14 minutes, 28 seconds. We were 32 seconds away from a draw. And then the Shuri Utami match was just a few seconds away from a draw as well. Micah's doing a really good job getting these new moves over. She obviously throws a wicked clothesline. She's at the discus clothesline in, and she throws a phenomenal Michinoku driver. I like the tornado style Michinoku driver. I thought that was very well done, and it showed that she needed all those giant moves and to put a little bit more spin on it, literally a spin on it, to get the win over the champion. And that takes Micah to 10 points. Shuri now she has lost to Utami. She has lost to Saki Kashima. She has lost to Koguma, and now she's lost to Micah. And I wouldn't be shocked. I would, like, earlier in the tournament, before the tournament started, like, yeah, I can see her getting rolled up. I can see maybe Micah getting a win, or obviously Utami, because Utami needs that win over Shuri to get her some momentum in this tournament. But the fact that she hasn't been pinned in a singles match going into this tournament in like a year, and she's had a dominant World of Stardom Championship run, and she won this tournament last year. The fact that she's only won 3 and she's lost 4, that's kind of like a head scratcher to me. But on the bright side, that I think that we will probably see a Micah Shuri title match somewhere down the line, leading into whoever Shuri wrestles for the winner of this tournament. So obviously, I'm not going to say no to that. Obviously, Micah and Shuri, I'd love to see these two tangled up again. Maybe more with a 20-minute time limit or a 30-minute time limit, where they can kind of draw this match out a little bit more. But yeah, again, 4 stars, absolutely solid match. And this is a match that I have definitely recommended to my friends. We move on to the main event of this evening as we go over to the Blue Stars Black match, as we have a pair of 8s, as we have Mayu Iwatani coming with 8 points, taking on the Wonder of Stardom champion, and my Wrestler of the Year, Saya Kamatani, coming in with 8 points as well. Kind of wondering how are they going to follow up that match, and boy, howdy did they. Fast and furious action to start, as Mayu winds up getting Saya Kamatani out of the ring, and she hits her signature dive early on and goes to work on Saya's back. Saya counters with a dropkick as Mayu spills the outside, and then Saya follows up with her signature springboard planta. So early on, they're setting the tone that they're going for their high impact offense to the outside, and they both hit theirs. So I thought that was really good, and especially you have 2 baby faces and 2 beloved baby faces. You don't need any real heel psychology. Just the story of this match is just who's better, who's gonna outwill who's gonna out technique who. So I thought that was a really, really cool storytelling spot, like the first minute and a half, 2 minutes into this match, especially coming off the back of that phenomenal Shuri Micah match. Back and forth they go as Mayu floors Saya with a big forearm, and then Saya comes back with that jumping spin kick that she just seems to wrap around her opponent's head. She hits the Star Crusher. She goes for the 450 splash, but she misses. She rolls through out of the way. Mayu comes back. She hits the super kick into the crucifix bomb. I love that combination when she strings that. Crowd's really, really coming up here towards the end. Mayu goes for the dragon suplex, but the champ, she slips out. She slips out of the dragon suplex, and it's a big pump kick. And then Mayu throws another brutal super kick. We don't see that too often, Mayu hitting 2 of them like that. But she hits another super kick, and then she goes to roll Saya up. A kind of little miscommunication there, but that's okay. When Mayu comes back up, she gets hit with a Hurricanrana for the surprise win. 9 minutes, 26 seconds. I like this match just a little bit more than the previous match. 4 1/4 stars. This was absolutely tremendous, as we thought it would be. Some just nonstop action, really good psychology. Neither competitor really had a clear advantage. When it looked like Saya Kamatani did have the clear advantage, she misses the 450 splash. And then when it looked like Mayu, when she was able to string the super kick, crucifix bomb combination, but when it looked like she had the clear advantage, she went for one of her big moves, the dragon suplex, and that got countered as well. So it just seemed like anytime any wrestler had a big advantage, there was a counter, and then eventually the counter to the counter to the counter, with Saya Kamatani hitting the Hurricanrana and hooking the legs for the jackknife win. Excellent match, solid show. Now, I did watch the first 4 matches of the show from the 4th, and again, I'm not going to review it just because I don't want to review a partial show, but I'm really, really enjoying what I'm seeing, and I can't wait for the whole show to be uploaded. I really want to watch Mayu and Natsupoi. So, again, I will go over my top 5 matches of this tournament thus far. Again, we're going off the top of my head. Number 5 would be Hazuki and Natsupoi. Number 4 would be Julie and Starlight Kid. Number 3 would be Sayakama Tani and Starlight Kid. Number 2 would be Julia and Hazuki. And number 1 will remain Shuri versus Utami. So, again, I apologize, everyone, for this just being a shorter episode, as I just have that one show to review. But we are going to preview, or I'm going to preview the pay-per-view coming up on this Sunday. Which means that after I get done wrestling this weekend, I'm actually wrestling at a comic book convention this weekend. I'll be in the Poconos at Colossal Con. If you are going to be there and you are a listener of the Stardom Cast, come over by the merchandise table and I will make sure you're all taken care of. Obviously, pictures and autographs are always free. I will never, ever charge for those. Okay, so when I get done wrestling, I'm probably going to come home, eat, shower, and then run about 3 or 4 hours of sleep, as I'm a big fan of just watching these matches live and interacting with all the fantastic friends and family of the Stardom Cast on the old Twitter machine. So, okay. Let me just pull it up here. Yeah, this is a pre-show Battle Royal start time, 3:30 a.m. Eastern. So, yeah, probably by the time I get home, shower, eat, it'll probably be about close to midnight. But hey, that's A-okay. I'm not complaining. I'm bragging. So, all right. We got 8 matches on this card, and this card does take place at the Yokohama Budokan. So I'm going in what I think is going to be in order just by what We Are Stardom posted on Twitter. So match number 1, we'll see the debut tag team of the New God's Eye member Inaba teaming with the World of Stardom champion Sherry to take on Mina Shirakawa and poor Waka Tsukiyama. All my eggs in the basket of Inaba probably pinning Waka. Definitely pinning Waka. But I don't think Sherry, the champ, so you have the champ and one of the lead, last year's winner of this tournament, the champion, Sherry, and one of the persons leading the pack for Wrestler of the Year, the opener of this card. It shows you how stacked it is. And then we're going to see, obviously Mina's so improving and Waka coming back from an injury. She looks really, really good. But yeah, I'm going to put, I'm going to bet all my comic book money for the week on the God's Eye team getting the win here. Match number 2, Red Stars block. We have Unagi taking on Risa Sera. Unagi only a few points in the tournament. Wouldn't be shocked if we get an upset win here, but I'm going to go with Risa Sera getting the win. Match number 3. Oh boy, this is a tough one. We have the Queen's Quest members in the Red Stars block. Utami taking on Azumi. Again, I didn't see or really read the spoilers of the 9-4 show, so I'm not sure what the point totals are, but I'm pretty sure Azumi and Utami are pretty close to the top. Now I have Utami winning this block, the Red Stars block. My wonderful wife has Azumi winning the Red Stars block, and Azumi did cut a promo last week where she did say, hey, the finals are on my 21st birthday, or 20th birthday. I think she's only turned 20. Jeez, that blows my mind. The finals are on my birthday. What a great birthday present would be for me to win the 5-star on my birthday. So she kind of is throwing that out. I'm going to say Utami gets the win here, but that's another tough one. And here's another tough one. Oh boy, Sayakama Tani. We go back to the Blue Stars block. Sayakama Tani taking on Suzu Suzuki. Suzu Suzuki needs a win here. She has 0 points. But again, I did say, there were a lot of people like, how come she doesn't have any wins? I did say there's a possibility that she doesn't have any wins, and then maybe she blocks Julie on the final night. But I'm going to say Suzu Suzuki gets a win here. And then somewhere between now and the end of the year, Suzu Suzuki gets a title shot against Sayakama Tani. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. Sayakama Tani's got some absolute bangers coming up after this tournament's over. Obviously, the Kari match is something they're going to have to play back. And then I really think that between now and the end of the year, at the beginning of next year, I think you're going to get that Sayakama Tani Hazuki match where I think Hazuki's going to be the one to take the belt off her. Regardless, I'm going to say Suzu Suzuki. This is literally a point where I can literally, outside of the 3 non-tournament matches, I can see myself being wrong on each one. So, but I'm going to say Suzu gets her first win by beating the Wonder of Stardom champion, Sayakama Tani. Back to Red Stars block we go. We see Saki from Colors taking on Himeka. Boy, Himeka's got a lot of points. She's got a lot of points here. Does Saki get the upset win here? I'm going to say no. I'm going to go with the Donald Del Mundo member. You say that 3 times fast. I'm going to say Himeka picks up the win here. But again, It's a match I could get wrong. Okay, we go to Blue Star's block. Okay, the early, so all right, Mayu Iwatani taking on Julia. Julia has to keep winning here. Well, she's only down. She's got 10, 12. I think she's up to 12. 10 or 12, and then Hazuki's got 14, but Hazuki wins the tiebreaker. I still think Julia's taking this whole thing, especially the way this tournament's building towards her. And when I said last week, and I had so many people that tweeted at me and agreed with me, and thank you. I appreciate that. And it's okay to disagree with me. That's A-okay. That I think just with the growth of Stardom, if you want to continue growing, that I think once they decide Sherry's title reign is done, that Julie is the next person to go to. She just has that certain aura, a completely different aura about her than anybody else in the company. Really, any women really competing in wrestling today, if you ask me. I think this is just completely different aura than anybody else. So, okay, I know a lot of people last year had this match between Julie and Mayu as their favorite match of the tournament. And I know they had the, I believe it was a 30, they go 20 or the 30-minute time limit draw for the number one contendership back in January, early this year. I'm going to say Julie wins this one. But again, it's a pick 'em. It really is a pick 'em. They haven't had a draw yet. So maybe this is the first one that goes to a draw, just because they had a draw earlier in the year. But they haven't, Rossi doesn't really like doing draws on pay-per-views. If any match is going to go to a draw on a pay-per-view in this tournament, it's going to be this one. But I'm going to say Julia picks up the win here. We go on to the co-main event, Artists of Stardom Championship. Boy, I just relooked at this morning, and I'm super excited for this one because you have the champions. Momo Watanabe, Starlight Kid, Saki Kashima defending against the former tag champs, FWC, Hazuki, Koguma, and the current future Stardom champion, Hanan. So we're going to see another version of Black Desire versus FWC. No problem with that with me there. And you're going to get the ever-improving Miss Hana in as well. So, and then you'll probably see Hazuki, abusing Starlight Kid even more than maybe even Julia did. Who knows? Then you'll probably see some high-speed stuff with Koguma and Starlight Kid. And then you'll get obviously some really stiff action between Momo and Hanan, and then obviously Momo and Hazuki. This one to me is a little easier to pick. I would not be shocked if we see new champs, but I am going to say that the Oedo Tai team retain. Moving on to what I believe will be the main event, will be the first title defense of Tam Nakano and Natsupoi representing Cosmic Angels, taking on the team of Mirai and Ami Sohrei. This will be fun. This will be hard hitting. I'm excited to see the stiff exchanges between Tam and Mirai. This is going to be a good one. This whole show looks just absolutely stacked, and I can't wait to watch it this Sunday. But I don't see Tam and Natsupoi losing the belts on their first defense, and it just seems poor Mirai and Ami Sohrei, this is their third chance at the titles in about 3 months, and I think they're going to come up short here again. But that's A-okay because I think they're going to get built up. They're getting built up very well in this tournament. I think they're going to have a really, really good run at the Goddess of Stardom tournament coming up towards the end of this year. So, excellent show. If anybody is up during that show, feel free to tweet me, Matt Turner OF, on Instagram and or the Twitter. And we can definitely discuss what's going on with the matches. And let me know, what are your top matches of this tournament? Let me know if Julie and Mayu was one of your top matches of last year's tournament, as I might go back and revisit that match somewhere between now and the end of this week, if I have time, because I guess this is my ham-fisted segue, as I am super busy doing the bi-weekly homework for the next podcast coming up for the fantastic members of our Patreon. And probably in about a week's time or so from when you listen to this, the next white belt and red belt tier member episode will be available. That'll be Io Shirai's V10 World of Stardom Championship reign. I think I only have 2 or 3 matches to finish that, and then I will record. So that'll probably be in your feeds in about the next week or so. Coming up on Monday for our next watch-along, we go to the finals of the 2020 5-Star Grand Prix as Utami Hishista takes on Maika, just in lieu of they just seem to have banger after banger in the 5-Star, and then Maika's her 2 championship challenges against Utami. I went back and watched those for an episode For the Patreon, that again, if you're a Patreon member, you can go back in the archives and listen to it. If you're a new member of the Patreon or you're thinking about joining the Patreon member, that one's only $3, folks. You know, you can help support the show. Greatly appreciate it. But you can go back and listen to the Utami World of Stardom Championship run. And, you know, I reviewed both those matches as well as all of her matches from that run. But that is, sorry, I'm on a rant here. That will be the watch along that'll be on your feeds Monday morning. More than likely, Monday morning will be Utami versus Micah 2020 5-star finals. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. Thanks for hanging in with me there. Again, I apologize for the short show, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time because next week it's going to be much longer as we have not one, not two, but 3 shows to review. So, yeah, you know, I hope you're all enjoying the 5-star. I hope you all had a fantastic summer as we're getting pretty much towards the close of the summer, as I'm literally looking outside my window and it's cool, it's calm, it's a little bit of raining. As you can see, fall in football, American football season is here. Again, thank you everyone so much. Please, questions, comments, let me know. Matt Turner OF to everyone supporting the show. I greatly appreciate it. Can't do that without you. Please, when you get a chance, go on to iTunes and give me a 5-star review if you think I deserved it. If you don't think I deserved it, please let me know why. Let me know how we can get the show better. Because remember, this isn't just my show. It is your show. Because remember, we're all in this together, and everybody's different. Everybody's special. Have a great day and a great night. Bye-bye.